Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our CSS class. As you dey watch this CSS class, I go assume say you don already learn HTML. As we dey use HTML to do the structure of our website, na im we dey use CSS to make am dey more beautiful. No website wey you go see online wey get colors and fonts and different animation wey be say dem no use CSS to am. We dey use CSS on its own to beautify all our HTML tags and elements. Now, may we start by looking at these simple HTML websites wey I don write already. You see say na just how we dey write our HTML be this, like I teach you for our HTML full course. If you no sabi HTML, you fit go back and watch that full HTML tutorial. E dey my page. You fit learn HTML in just 2 hours free of charge. Now, for those who already sabi HTML, you go see say for this page, we get our tags and elements as usual. We get our HTML tag, wey be where we dey put everything for our website. Then we get our head. For inside this head, na we dey put the title of our website and other meta information wey be say our viewers no go see. Now, inside the body elements, we get our heading and paragraph. Now, this heading and paragraph, we go quick apply CSS to show you how CSS dey work. Once you write your HTML tags like this heading and paragraph, the browser will help you display am with the default settings wey be say all the browsers dey get. But these default settings na just for them to show am to your viewers. They no dey beautify anything. Now you go come beautify am using CSS. CSS na cascading style sheet. And you get 3 different ways where you fit apply CSS to your page. The first way na to apply directly to the HTML tag itself. For instance, this heading1 tag, I go apply CSS style inline. If you apply for the tag itself, na im we dey call inline CSS. How you go do am? Say you go give am attributes. Remember, say we discuss attributes for our HTML lesson. So you go give am style attributes. You go say style equal to, then you open quotes like normal. Then you go come start to dey specify the kind styles where you want apply. For this one now, we go change the color of our text and we go change the font size. Now, after you apply this style inline, you go check am for your browser and you go see say everything don dey applied. You fit use this method to apply CSS to any element for your HTML page. But as you go don know, if you dey apply CSS this way and you get plenty elements for your page, very soon everything go dey crowdy and stuffy. You no go even know which one belong to which one. And the person wey dey come to inspect your code, or any developer wey go work on your code in the future, go dey very, very confused. Now, while we get other ways wey we fit apply CSS to our code. The second way na to add am for your head section. Now, I tell you say most things wey dey your head section no dey show for your browser. The only thing wey you fit see na the icon and the title wey go show for the tab. So if you write your CSS for this head, your viewers no go see the code wey you dey write unless they inspect your code. But the browser go know say im go apply your CSS style to all the elements wey dey your HTML code inside the body section. So we go just move our CSS style wey we write inline. We go move am up here to this head section. Instead of using attributes now, since we know dey write am inline, we go just use style opening and closing tag. Then we go write the element we want apply this style to. In this case, our H1. So we go write our H1, then we will open curly brackets, close curly brackets, and inside the curly brackets, we go write our CSS style. So now, may we apply the same style we apply for down here, up here. And then may we do some CSS for our paragraph tag as well. Now, we don dey make progress. I go see say this one no dey as stuffy as the one wey we write inside the HTML tag, but it still dey a little bit crowded. And again, for real websites, you will get so many elements for your page and everything go dey so long. If you write your CSS here, you no go dey easy for people to understand wetin you go write. Even you no go dey easy for you in the future to remember why you write this thing and wetin you write am for. Na why e good to separate our CSS file completely from our HTML file, which bring us to the third way. This third way na the most accepted way to create CSS. Now, you will open a new CSS file. You fit use every main for your CSS file, but for our main CSS file, most people dey use either main.css or style.css. We go use main.css. Now, inside our main.css file, I go copy this style we don't already use inline and in our head section. I go put them inside our CSS file. When you write your CSS inside a separate file, for your HTML file, you still guys show the direction of where your CSS file dey. So you guys tell the browser, say, okay, this CSS for this page, no dey for this page, but na so place e dey. How you go take draw am? Say you go put a link, and for this link tag, you go say the rel my style sheets, and the type you go say my text/CSS, even though this one no dey compulsory again. The two compulsory things, but to say, okay, I that link of rel style sheets and my href, which is the source, the place where this CSS be. Now, you go write the name of your CSS file and the path, which is our main.css file. So now you don't sabi the three major ways where we take the write CSS for our HTML. The first way now to write them directly in line for the HTML tag. The second way now to put them inside our head tag. And the third way now to create new file, new CSS file. The next thing we will go discuss now what we call CSS selectors. CSS selectors now just a way for us to choose one particular element like h1, p, bev, or whatever, and then apply styles. But choosing the general names of your tags and elements no be the best way to apply CSS. Why? Because sometimes you go want choose one specific paragraph or one specific div or one specific for list, any tag we say you want apply your CSS to. But if you choose the generic name of that element, like this h1 will we do for here, or this paragraph will we do for here, then any style will we apply for here, you go apply them to every single h1 and every single paragraph with our website. But sometimes you go want apply different style to one specific paragraph and different style to another specific paragraph. Now, while we get different kinds of CSS selectors apart from the general names of the elements. Now, for this part of our lesson, I will show you how you go fit select specific elements using something other than the generic name of that element. To show you more CSS selectors, I go use this HTML code. As you see now, this is my just regular basic HTML setup. We get our head and we get our body. And inside the head, we get our link to our style sheets, will be our main.css file. Now, for our body, we get heading and we get div, we contain 3 paragraphs, and then another div, we contain link. Now, we go to style all of these elements separately. First thing we'll do that say, we go style our paragraph, but we go use the element selectors. Now, I don't tell you about element selectors before. When we take the select element, without choosing one particular element, but we dey choose all those elements. So now, we go target all our P instead of one specific P. We go use this one to change the font family and the line height. Now, as we dey do all these exercises, I will introduce you to different kinds of styles we fit add to our elements. For this one now, I will introduce you to the font family style. Wetin be the font family? Font family the font wey you wan use for your elements. In this case, for our paragraph, we wan use all these fonts. Now, for the font family style, you fit provide up to 3 options and you go separate all of them with commas. The first option na wetin the browser go use first. So na it be your main style, your main font wey you dey use. But because say some browsers no dey get some fonts, we get the opportunity to use our second font family. Na it go be the second one wey you provide. Now, if they no get this first one and they no get this second one, then we go use the third one as backup. Now, this third one, we need to use one specific font. Instead, we dey use one family of fonts. Why we dey use family of fonts? Because see, if they no get our first one and they no get our second one, for the third one, we dey say, okay, no choose one specific font. Just choose any font wey you get wey fit this family. We get different types of font families, including monospace, serif, and sans serif. Also, if you dey use font wey dey say the name na 2 words, you guys use quotation marks. Now, the second one wey we go use for our selector na a way to choose specific tag under the generic element tag. For instance now, you see say for our HTML code, we get 3 paragraphs. So we will apply style for only one of these paragraphs. If we use our generic p tag to apply the CSS, then it go apply them to all 3. So instead, we go use class to choose just one of these paragraphs. The class attributes na little with the set for inside our HTML file to the name of that class. So you go fit use that name for your CSS file. I go show you how we dey do this one now. We go our HTML file. We go write the name of the class. So let's just write mundane for this paragraph class. Now, the name wey you choose no really matter. The things wey matter most, like say, any name wey you choose for your class, you go the CSS file. Then you go write dot the name of that class, and then you go open your curly brackets like normal. So using this specific class to target our specific paragraph, we go change the background color and then the padding. Padding na another style wey we get for CSS. Padding na the distance between the elementary with the child style and where it dey begin for the border. So we see say all these other paragraphs, they begin from here. But if we apply padding, it go shift them inside. Now, you fit apply padding for the left, for the right, for the top, and the bottom. We go dey look all those ones later. But may we continue with our CSS selectors now. Another selector we will go check na the ID selector. We don't already use ID for our HTML class to specify which section we want link to. Another thing we you fit use ID for now for CSS styling. So to do this one now, you go set the ID attribute as normal. As we take set our class attributes, now you go also set our ID attributes. Then inside our CSS, instead of writing dot the name of our ID as we take do for class, we go use hashtag instead. So if you see any CSS file with the right dot one name and they apply style, you go know say like class that they apply that style to. And if you see say they use hash or hashtag, then you go know say na ID they apply to. So now you go write hash the name of your ID, you will open your curly brackets and close on like normal, and then you could apply your style. We go use this one to change the color and the font weight. The font weight is not just how strong or thick our font could be. So now the generic element selector, the class selector, and the ID selectors we don't examine. Now them be the 3 most common and easy to understand selectors we get. Others do, like the descendant selectors, wait, I go show you for here. Now, you see say for this HTML, we get our div and we give up the class of box. Then inside this div, we be class of box. We get an anchor tag. Now, this anchor tag, we won't apply CSS to but we won't apply to just this anchor tag with the inside this box class. So wetin we go do now, say we go write for our CSS style dot box A. This one means say we dey choose only this descendant. Now why we dey call am descendant selector? We dey choose only the A wey be the descendant of the box class. So if we get other dot box for our HTML page, or we get other anchor tag for our HTML page, you no go apply these styles to them, because if they find only the anchor tag, only the A tag with the inside dot box, that's inside a box trash. So for this one now, we go use that, change the color, and then apply another style we will call text decoration. We dey always use text decoration with anchor tags, with A tags will be links, because links they always come with some kind decoration of their own. So we dey use this text decoration style, set them to none, to ask the browser to remove all the normal decorations we suppose come with this link tag, so that we go now use our own custom decoration. Finally, another selector wey I wan show you na the pseudo class selector. This specific pseudo class selector na the hover selector. Hover na just wetin dey happen when you put your mouse on top one element for your website. That is, if users dey browse your website and they put their mouse on top one element, na hover you go take choose wetin go happen. So if you want apply one specific style to a specific element, but only when your users put their mouse over am, now this hover we go use. So we go use this hover pseudo selector to change wetin happen when our users put their mouse on top our anchor element, which is the link element. We go use am now change the text decoration to underline. Now this one will make them so that if they don't put their mouse on top our link, you go underline the link so that they're going to say, okay, this thing my link where I feel click. Now you get one thing where I want make you keep in mind when it comes to selectors and styles. Now what would they call specificity rule? Specificity rule they come into play if you get different styles applied to one specific element and you don't wonder which one will come into play. For instance, if we use the generic tag to apply styles to one specific element, and then we use the pseudo selector to apply different style to that element, and then we apply different style to that element with the class, which one will go into effect? Now the specificity rule will take the solve this problem. The specificity rule talks say inline styles na go always come first, then ID go follow, then classes and pseudo classes, then elements. So any style will apply inline na go eventually work if you get other conflicting one. And then if you don't get any style inline, now the ID style na go take effect. And if you don't get anyone for ID, now the classes and pseudo classes before the style will you apply with the elements.